Where can Nintendo go after the success of the Super Mario Bros. Movie? A Zelda movie? An Animal Crossing show? Let's discuss the possibilities. Welcome to the Switch Clicks Podcast, episode 132, recorded on April 18th, 2023. My name is Dakota, and today I'm joined by Tyler.
Hello!
So we are fully aware that a Tears of the Kingdom trailer came out about a week ago. But I don't know much about the Zelda lore, and neither does
Famously,
Tyler.
I don't either. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be putting all discussion off until we can get Nathan on the podcast to discuss all of that. Mind you, we did discuss the gameplay trailer, or the gameplay 10 minutes, about 2 weeks ago. So if you want some discussion, you can go back to that one. Onwards. It's been about 2 weeks since the Super Mario Bros. Movie came out, and it has been breaking numbers at the box office. It is officially the biggest animated movie ever, you could consider.
Well, I guess by initial first weeks, it hasn't beat out full highest grossing ever yet, but it probably will.
Yeah, it's broke like 2/3 of the records that it really needs to.
And it hasn't released in Asia yet or something like that?
Yeah, it's released in China, just not Japan. And likely Japan will add, I have to add probably another 200 million to that box office.
Yeah, so it will most likely break all the records.
Yeah. And then last week, you guys discussed what the potential was for sequels to the Super Mario Bros. Movie, as well as some minor spin-offs. But this week, we're going to talk about what other Nintendo franchises could go into the silver screen or the golden screen. Silver screen, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard called golden screen. But yeah, I'm excited to, I guess, just think about all the possibilities, because Nintendo is a lot of stuff. We got into a little bit last week, but we tried to stray away from it as much as possible. But yeah, the easy ones were Legend of Zelda, which is, I feel almost guaranteed at this.
Yeah, I think Zelda is understandably delicate to the fan base. Everybody wants a Zelda movie, but they also want it to be done perfectly. They've seen the Mario movie. It was not done perfectly. It was done how it should be done.
Yeah, it was fine. I played it a little safe, but that's kind of what Mario is story-wise. He's never been a crazy, over-the-top. I don't think I've ever been shocked by a Mario story.
Yeah.
Where I think Zelda has a little bit more of that shock value.
Exactly. And I think the answer should be yes.
Yeah, I don't think Nintendo needs to be making live-action movies. That feels like a recipe for disaster. Would any property work well in live action?
No. Let's be honest. Maybe F-Zero is the only one that I
was going to say that, yeah. F-Zero maybe, with the Speed Racer look to it, where it's really, it might as well be animated, but there's live action people in there. Yeah, I don't think any of, because what are the human looking characters in Nintendo? Fire Emblem? Why would I want to watch that live action?
Yeah, that's basically, if they make it gritty, that's just basically watching Game of Thrones on crack.
Yeah. I don't think live action is even should be on anyone's mind, especially considering how much money Mario made. It's not like the live action Mario movie did very well.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of comparisons right now with Tears of the Kingdom and the Studio Ghibli film Princess Mononoke, where the main character, he gets his arm taken by some magic or whatever. I watched the movie, but I can't describe it. It's like
I've
evil
also seen
gelatin.
The movie, but I think I was falling asleep while I was watching. If I'm being honest, I do not remember that movie very well at all.
That is one of the slower ones, I will admit. But anyways, for anybody that have seen that, that anime art style could work, but I don't think there's any major uh, uh, anime animators out there that would take on making a Zelda anime.
Yeah. I know the, Lupin the Third, I think it was a movie, from a couple years ago, did a very, very good job of translating anime to 3D, and I think that's, like, a possibility, but I do think, in general, the goal of Nintendo is to kind of Westernize it a little bit, not make anime movies.
Yeah, it's the point to apply to everybody because the North
Mhm.
American demographic, we go to movies more than any other demographic on the planet. That's
Yeah.
why most country or that's why Hollywood uh, does the math or does the box office math by domestic and worldwide. So
Mhm. And even, like, anime is a very like, iconic look for the most part, where I think, like, a Western style can kinda be applied anywhere. Like, French animated movies kinda look the same as American animated movies, just kinda look the same as and the list goes on. Like, there isn't a super specific style outside of, like, the Disney look or stuff like that.
yeah, and with like what Illumination does, there is no specific style. Now, how
Yeah,
they write
or
their jokes and how they make their humans and animals, there is a certain style that you can connect, but really
yeah.
it's animated 3D. You wouldn't be able to
Mhm.
notice.
Yeah, like, Despicable Me definitely has a style, but that is not at all seen in Mario.
Yeah,
But, like, I can tell actively that it was written by the Despicable Me people.
definitely. Whoever wrote Despicable Me probably threw in the dog sequence in the beginning.
That was very Illumination. Kinda forgot that happened in the movie. That is a very yeah, wow.
Yeah, when I went to see it the second time, it was kind of brutal to sit through because it was obviously thrown in.
Mhm. Yeah, what a weird random thing to throw in now that I'm thinking about it. But that's not what the podcast episode's about. It's about what they gonna do.
Yeah.
So, what
I
are
th
they gonna do?
I think the other thing a lot of people pointed out that if they want to stay with Illumination, what would be the best, IP to introduce?
Mm.
I think the first obvious one that comes to mind is Kirby.
Yeah, Kirby could work, Kirby could work. A lot
D
of, like, the bubbly ones like, this is kind of a like, Yoshi is in its own franchise, but I think they could do, like, whatever the movie equivalent of, like, Yoshi's Crafted World is.
Mhm.
Um, but again, that's Mario adjacent. A lot of the cute little guys outside of I don't know if they could do a Pokemon. I don't
I
really
don't
know
think
how you make
Pokemon
a
would
Pokemon
work for them.
movie.
I think a lot of Illumination's style has, like, almost, exaggerated proportions for the humans at a lot of times,
Mhm.
and that just doesn't work with Pokemon. Well, maybe Pokemon themselves, but not the Pokemon
Yeah.
humans.
Like, I think the Illumination style would work pretty well for mother characters, but I do not think Illumination would write a very good mother movie.
Yeah, and also considering, the general population has no idea what Mother is, let
Yeah.
alone Earthbound. So, that movie would make no money.
It is true. It would not be the most profitable.
I think Kirby is probably the best bet there because they
Mhm.
have the same kind of whimsical world style, and it's another adventure movie. You're going to different worlds. You're
Yep.
battling a non-human character, which is really just a giant penguin.
Yeah.
I think
Or
the
like an eldritch being.
yeah, or God.
Yeah.
I think that's where it kind of draws the line. How far do they wanna go? Do they
Mhm.
wanna kill God in the first movie?
Yeah, I don't know how that would play out.
Also, would Kirby speak? So
Oh, yeah. That's true. I mean, in our casting, in our little things, Kirby is at least has a voice. So I don't know. I don't think they'd do it though. I think that was a part of the joke, is that Kirby shouldn't sound like Samuel L. Jackson. So it's funny to say that he does. Do you think Illumination? This is another like deeper cut Nintendo character. I feel like they could do a Ice Climbers or a Punch Out.
With the success of Creed, that series,
The Creed movies.
I think they could probably like work with what's his name? Something Jordan?
Michael B. Jordan?
Michael B. Jordan. He could potentially direct a really nice animated Punch-Out movie.
That would be a funny. I do think Punch-Out would be probably parody to a degree. Like I'm not sure if it would be taken very seriously, because Punch-Out is literally a Rocky movie, but a video game.
Yeah, but I think it would be nice to see
a genuine one.
Maybe not a genuine one, but every time there's not that there are a lot of them, but every time there's a boxing movie, it's always like, okay, a big guy with muscles versus a big guy with muscles, maybe even bigger muscles. So I think it would be kind of funny when you have those exaggerated characters in Punch-Out. I don't even know the characters' names, so don't even tell me. But you got the big guy in like not Canada, America shorts and I think a crown. You got the
that
blonde
King
dude.
Though.
You got the guy with the mustache and he's bald. Those are the ones that come to mind. But if they all have like special powers that you can really exaggerate in animation, that could be cool.
It would be. I would be a little worried because Punch-Out relies a lot on stereotypes, and I don't know how that would. Like, I don't feel like that's like funny as like an quick little character. I don't feel like you'd want a whole movie where you just have like an overt stereotype for every country. I feel like that could get dicey.
That's true. I mean, they could just lean on different like movie stereotypes. You got like the mob boss, and he's gonna fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of forgot that that's all their characters. So it'd be hard to translate, but I do think I would like to see it, because I could see a really like fun movie where like is his name Doc? Doc and Little Mac are just like
so.
have really good chemistry. I
Yeah.
think that would be a fun time. But
Yeah.
there's also like a lot of walking on eggshells you'd have to do to make it work.
And I think the character design Illumination could knock out of the park for those.
Oh yeah. I could see a lot of Punch-Out characters in a Despicable Me movie.
Yeah, the first one that comes to mind that could easily be an enemy of Little Mac is the villain from Despicable Me 3. He's like addicted to the 80s.
Yeah. I was gonna say I could see like Glass Joe being a Despicable Me side character.
Yeah, exactly. Or even Vector in the ring.
I don't really think. I know I could see Vector get punched really hard by a short little guy. He's kind of short himself though, so I don't know.
He would like do the hump air thing. Whatever he says, something, 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 and magnitude.
When he says magnitude, that's when like, the little gold star shows up that you can punch to like get Little Mac's super move in the games. But yeah, I think that would be fun, but I do think on average Illumination would not be able to pull off the more like not serious, but like the Nintendo properties that kind of take themselves more serious. Like a Metroid or a Star Fox or a Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, those don't work. Now, the one that I was thinking about that almost straddles the line between serious and not serious, like, Nintendo fun, would be Splatoon. The character design and art style kind of lines up with Illumination. They won't have much creativity in that area. But
yeah, I don't know what Splatoon movie would be. Would it be like the little inkling had their dreams of being a pro Splatooner for so long, and like their chance is finally revealed, or something like that? Like, is that how you do the movie? Because I feel like that kind of movie's been done a million times.
Yeah, but with paintball, I don't think it's ever done
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, but, like, I feel like Mario was able to like, Mario's Mario. Everyone knows him, so it's a little easier to do, like, the Mario story, where Splatoon doesn't really have a story that's easy to adapt,
Yeah. I
unless
guess
they go for the agent stuff, like the actual story mode.
yeah, I can't see them going for the agent stuff unless they wanted to do like a uh in the middle of the final battle, Dr. Octavio comes up and or not
Yeah.
Dr. Octavio, DJ Octavio. He comes up and now
Spider-Man.
all 8 Inklings that were initially fighting their last semi-final battle or whatever have to team up, and then you get a cool final
Uh-huh.
sequence. But then you would have to make a story around that, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I think it's possible, but it would be difficult.
Yeah, they would have to get some creative writers, aka not Illumination writers.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I was gonna be like, "Well, I think Illumination can," then I thought about it a little bit, and I don't think any Illumination movie has, like, story-wise been super interesting. I do think that I was gonna say Blue Sky, well, that studio's dead. Uh, um, unfortunate. They were bought by Disney, and if I'm being honest, I don't think Nintendo is gonna hit up Disney at all to
Yeah,
make
they will never
stuff.
do that.
That feels like, yeah, something that just simply will not happen. So, like, what animation studios do you have? You have, like, in the West at least, Sony, Illumination, uh, that kinda feels like it. I don't know, though. There you can get, like there is more studios outside of that. You have the anime studios we've mentioned previously, like, more Japanese-centric. I know Korea has a lot of animation. I just yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's not super high profile Western animation studios that aren't Disney, which is kinda terrifying to think about. I forgot about DreamWorks. I just don't think they'd I just still don't that doesn't feel like something that would happen, although it is a little more plausible than Disney.
Yeah, and you wanna consider that because this is the biggest animated movie of all time, it's gonna make them a crap load of money, and
Mhm.
Universal is gonna wanna keep that IP, any Nintendo IP,
Yeah.
from leaving. Also considering they have a whole joint venture with theme parks, so
Yeah, I do wonder, does Universal own any other animation studios?
are they with, DreamWorks, or is that am I wrong with that?
Um, Universal Studios Animation is its own company that I'm not sure
I
exists.
don't even know if
It
that
does not.
exists. Yeah, I just googled
It
that.
does not.
It's
It
this
ended in
oh,
2006.
yeah, DreamWorks is a subsidiary of Universal Pictures.
Oh,
So,
okay.
if they wanted to, DreamWorks could probably handle, like,
I
Zelda
think
and
DreamWorks
Metroid
could do
and
a good job, yeah. That actually opens up a lot of possibilities in that case because, like, DreamWorks has a lot more of a has a bigger variety of stuff. You
mhm.
have the Trek movies, like, the Puss in Boots and, like, the bad guys, the more modern Spider-Verse-esque styles.
You got,
Uh
the How to Train Your Dragon series, Kung
mhm,
Fu
How to Train Your
Panda.
Dragon does stuff. Like, they are very similar in style, but their like, DreamWorks, I feel for the most part, has a good reputation making good movies for the
Yeah,
most who's making that new TMNT movie?
I think that's Sony?
Paramount.
Oh.
Eh.
Yeah, that's hit and miss.
But yeah, I think I actually, do you think any of the Nintendo properties would work well in, like, that, Spider-Verse adjacent, like, 12 frames a second stylized animation? I feel like you could do a lot with that, but no, I was gonna say, but most of them like, a lot of them don't lean into that feel, but I think most of them do. I could see
Yeah,
Legend of Zelda movie with that style. A Splatoon movie, I feel like could be very cool.
Well, the Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, all of their merchandise or all their like character renders have that kind of brush stroke
painterly look.
look.
Yeah.
Not that the games do themselves, but they kind of have that look, so I could see that.
Mhm.
If you really wanted to
Yeah.
go with those trends.
Yeah.
If you wanna go with one that really works, I think Star Fox could work in that style.
Yeah, I definitely could see, like, a chip dodging a big laser, but it looks all cool.
Yeah, with a frame of "pow" or something.
Yeah, something over the top like that. Or,
Yeah.
like, you know how in Smash Bros. And, like, Wolf does his claw moves, they have, like, the big purple,
Oh, yeah.
claw streaks following? I feel like that could be his whole character, where he's just like the Prowler from Spider-Verse.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking about the opening scene of the Puss in Boots movie, the second one, where he was, like, defeating that giant,
The
titan
Giant
or whatever it
Giant.
was. Yeah,
Yeah.
the giant. I'm, like, thinking, "Okay, that's really good choreography for an animated scene. That could work really well if you want the battles in Splatoon to be expressive."
Yeah, I think that style works. All, like, the action-packed stuff, I'm not sure if, like, an Animal Crossing would pull off that style super well, because that's a lot
Nah.
more chill,
For
and
anything,
I
Animal
think
Crossing has to be series.
oh, yeah. I don't see how you could make a movie.
Well, the thing is, they have made a movie, and it's actually pretty good.
Really? There's
Yeah,
an Animal Crossing movie out there?
there's a Animal Crossing anime that I believe came out with Wild World?
Huh. That is very cool. I
Um,
know
yeah.
what's the plot in Animal Crossing?
Well, it's literally they take the plot from Wild World, and it's this girl, she comes to the town, she starts working for Tom Nook, and she's just learns about the different animals, and they just
Fair enough.
so it's
Fair enough.
very minimal. It made, looks like 16,000,000 at the Japanese box office. Um,
Yeah.
didn't make it didn't make very much. It was just kind of a promotional thing for, Japan.
Yeah. Huh.
The
That is
thing is,
very interesting.
I love those types of, shows, like those types of anime that is just slice of life, just doing stuff, meeting characters. So,
Mhm.
I'm totally down.
No, that is, like, the perfect way to do Animal Crossing. I just feel like in a movie that could get kind of boring, although I guess, like, a movie like Kiki's Delivery Service is very slice of life while also being a movie.
That's true.
So, it could work. And a lot yeah, people love Kiki. Um, but yeah. Now, I feel like Fire Emblem is a weirdly big Nintendo. So I
It's
feel like
hard to say, but yes.
it like I never think of it as like one of Nintendo's like big 5, but it's like guaranteed in their top 5.
Yeah.
It's if you don't count Pokemon because like Nintendo only owns a third of that, it's probably in the top 3.
That's hard to say. I think it's, like, top 3 in terms of game recognizability in terms of the hardcore fan base of Nintendo, but in
Yeah.
the general audience, nobody knows what Fire Emblem is outside of Japan.
Mhm. Yeah, which would be a much more difficult sell.
Yeah, and that one's could be another series that they could do. Could be like an
Yeah,
anthology series.
it could be. Um, and I do think Fire Emblem does risk being generic, uh, because, like, Fire Emblem doesn't have the charm that a Mario has, I don't think. I haven't played a Fire Emblem game to completion, but it's like Fire Emblem in general is like a fantasy setting, which is, like, a little more realistic than what Nintendo tends to go for. Obviously, there's big dragons and people that turn into dragons and everything,
Yeah.
but I still think, like, there is a lot of movies about that, so I don't know how you make it super interesting.
Yeah, if you wanted to make a movie, you have to really think about what you're gonna focus on. Because I think they could easily do a show and have it do like Game of Thrones style. Because the whole fun of medieval setting is almost the politics of how things
Yeah,
happen in sequence. But if you want to do a movie with action-packed sword scenes, it's kind of difficult to uh,
yeah,
sell somebody on a new race of people, essentially,
yeah, I
fighting
do
against
think
another race.
Fire Emblem 100% risks kinda being like, Raya and the Last Dragon, where it's like, "This is fun."
Oh, you're right.
It looks good, but it's like it was kinda haphazardly written and put in together. But I do think like a well-made Fire Emblem movie would essentially just feel like a well-made Raya movie, which I think would be good because it's well made.
Yeah, that's almost the perfect comparison. One of the people, I don't know, there's a central dragon, and there's two types of people on this one
A lot
continent.
yeah.
Not that I've seen the movie, I'm guessing the plot is
And
somewhat around that.
it's like, there's a bunch of different factions. It's very much Avatar: The Last Airbender, except in, like, the fact that there's a bunch of factions, and then the dragons that appeared I haven't seen the movie in a bit. The dragons are there, but now they're gone, and there's one dragon left, and this girl needs to save the dragons to, like, bring the dragons back to life by going on an adventure where they collect a companion from each section of the world, and there's a bunch of really beautifully animated sword fights.
You just described the entire plot of Fire Emblem Engage. I'm not even joking.
Excellent.
Except you yourself are the dragon, and then you're just collecting
Okay.
and going around, but that's it. It's so stupid.
Fair enough, I guess. Hmm.
Other
And
than
I guess
that, those are the big ones.
I think we can end it off on, like, a quick little discussion of if they make a Pokemon movie, because Pokemon is definitely up there. You have live action Pokemon, which I don't really think they'll be going back to.
They
Um,
are still in production with the Detective Pikachu sequel.
Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Um, and I think, like, you already have an established anime studio for Pokemon, so it'd be like a harder sell. But I think you can, to a point, just give that studio a bigger budget, and the movie will be a little more successful. But there's already a lot of Pokemon,
Yeah.
and they all kind of follow one guy. It's very weird. It might work better as a series because I
Yeah.
still think peak Pokemon animation is like those the short YouTube videos where it's like just clips from the games but animated in Pokemon anime style. I think it's not Pokemon Generation because I think that's a show following Red, Blue, and Green. It's something like that though. Something like Generations, be it like I don't think it's Evolution. Something along those lines.
Yeah, it's
And I feel
another
like
word.
making yeah. But a show that kind of feels like that, where it's more just like showing off Pokemon, more of like an anthology. I think that's the best way to do Pokemon. Uh, because if you don't, you're just gonna be reinventing the wheel. You're just gonna be doing Ketchum, but again, which
Yeah.
they already are with the
Yeah,
anime.
they are.
But still. But yeah,
As I think as a final note, um, connected cinematic universe or cinematic universe? Because a
I
connected one could be, "Oh, there's little snippets of every part of each game in each movie," or it's just, "Hey, these are separate movies, and when they want to make a Endgame or Avengers type movie, you're just gonna believe that they're snatched from each universe," which I would
yeah,
prefer.
I think that's for the best. If I'm being honest, I kind of I feel like a Smash Bros. Movie is really, really far away, like an actual crossover, as much as we have our own videos on it. Realistically, I think they're gonna stay very separate for quite a long, and then it'll be like, Smash Bros. Will either be the peak or like kicking a dead horse.
Yeah, depending on which direction the movies go in quality.
If they follow the critic score or the audience score.
Yeah. If anybody else has any ideas, Spotify has a new feature where you can actually comment on the episode itself. If you're listening on YouTube, you can also just comment down below. Thank you for joining us in discussing where Nintendo can go after the success of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. We'd love it if you could follow us on Twitter and listen to future episodes on Spotify and iTunes. Join our community Discord server to continue today's discussion. And we'll see you next time on the Switch Clicks podcast.